Hi guys, it's Ardin, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite shows, Derry Girls.
Will the following pupils please report to Sister Michael's office? Erin Quinn, Claire Devlin, Michelle Mallon, Orla McCool, and the wee English fella.
To summarize, Derry Girls is about a group of teenagers who are living in London Derry Ireland during the 90s, which, if you didn't know, there was a lot of religious and political conflict going on in the country at the time. So, Erin, Orla, Claire, Michelle, and James all attend an all-girls school in Derry. And Michelle's cousin James is forced to attend the school because they were worried that he'd get beat up for attending the boys' school due to the fact that he's English.
Speaking of pupils who need to watch their back, I'd like to introduce James McGuire. Show yourself, please, James. James will be the first ever boy to study here at Our Lady Immaculate College. He was due to start at Christian Brother Boys, but there were serious concerns for his safety because, well, unfortunately, James happens to be English.
Now, the characters. So, let's start with Erin. Erin is a writer/poet who thinks she is a fantastic artist. She has the greatest vision, she's amazing, and she has some issues taking criticism. She can be a little cutthroat when she wants to be, but I honestly think she means well. She's a fantastic character, and the main scenes in the story tend to focus around her and her family, like her mom, dad, grandfather, and her aunt and cousin. So most of the scenes take place at her house and or at the school. Next, there's Orla, who is Erin's cousin. Orla is great. She's a free spirit. She acts out of impulse and often gets lost in her own head. She's usually not paying attention to what's going on around her and doesn't care about what others think about her.
Some pretty cracker stuff where she comes from, dear. Oh, really? Like what? Disease? Poverty? No. You can get this wee woman made of wood, right? You pull her apart, and inside her there's an even weer wooden woman, and you pull the weer wooden woman apart.
Are you talking about Russian dolls?
Claire appears to be meek and hates getting into trouble. At times she can be a bit of a killjoy, but usually she's just thinking about things in a sensible way and doesn't want to end up, in jail or something.
I wanted to do brownies, but this was the only recipe my ma had, so...
We talked about this, Michelle. We agreed.
No, we didn't. Anyway, drugs aren't illegal when you put them into food. Everybody knows that.
Is that right? I'm not sure that's right.
But when she believes in something, she is definitely not afraid to speak her mind, and she's always very quick to stand up for her friends.
Yeah, she might be a dick. But she's my dick. Actually, she's our dick.
Michelle. Now, Michelle is a hopeless romantic, possibly an alcoholic, and an overall adventurer.
I think boys are really class, especially the ones who have a nice ass.
It's called haiku.
That's not what I would call it.
She's usually leading the group into some sort of troublesome situation and tries her best to get them out of it, which usually makes things worse. Michelle craves attention and isn't afraid to admit it. She also falls head over heels for any guy that she thinks might be her soulmate.
In years, I've never told anyone this before, but sometimes when Robbie's being interviewed, it's like he's sending me messages through the TV.
Which is a long list, but doesn't seem to bother her, so you go, girl. Then there's James. So James is the wee English lad. He's often referred to as a dick and gets picked on by literally every person in the show. He is very sweet and cares a lot for his friends, even though they constantly bully him and criticize his interests, mock his accent, and just ditch him.
I remember that James was being a dick.
Miss Mallon.
I don't like to use that word, sister, but it's so hard to describe James any other way because he's just such a dick.
Overall, they just make him feel really insecure. He definitely craves male friendship, which you can see throughout the show, and doesn't have any luck in that area because the girls keep getting in the way, and it's hard to make male friends when you go to an all-girls school. He also has a concerning obsession with Father Peter. He's like this cool priest with the he has the hair, okay? It's like swish, okay? It's like whoosh.
Come in, Father.
Anyway, James also likes Doctor Who, and everyone makes fun of him for it. Poor James. Poor James. Okay, so what I love about this show is the character development. There is so much growth between each of these characters that it's hard not to fall in love with them. And what's better is that the characters are flawed and as raw as can be. The writing is also really amazing. Like, the writer doesn't try to use any fancy teen slang or like any of that cheesy kind of stuff. And maybe it's because the show isn't exactly pitched as a teen drama. Like, I think it falls more under the comedic category, and there's also that historical aspect, so maybe that's why. But overall, I love how the characters actually talk like human beings. Like, there's no weird, strange language going on here. And the dialogue is super honest and raw. And the characters just feel like people you actually know having an everyday conversation. And I think it's that conversationalist aspect that makes the dialogue flow so well. Now, there's also the comedic timing of the show, which is honestly fantastic. I cannot stress this enough. The punchlines are set up so well that you can't help but laugh. Sister Michael and Grandpa Joe have some of my favorite quotes. I also love Uncle Colum because he reminds me of people I actually know. Like, I'm starting to call people that, and after I make this video and if they watch the show, well, they might not like me that much, but...
Run, girls, save yourselves. John over there was just saying, you know John, lovely fella, married to Patricia, I think it is, and her mother worked in the credit union, you might remember. Absolutely crippled with the old gallstones, so she was.
Christ almighty.
And the gallstones, well, now, they're no joke. Never mind Dickie Donegan. By God, he was tortured.
Yeah. I think everyone has, like, that one relative who is an Uncle Colum, and they just take a really long time to get to the point. Anyway, there are currently 2 seasons out for the show, and I've rewatched them a couple times already because I'm patiently waiting for the 3rd, which has been announced, and I'm so happy for that. I'm super stoked to see what the show has in store for next season, and I really, really want to see how these characters grow. Like, if you've already seen the show, you know exactly what I mean. They almost feel like they could be your friends, like in real life, like people you would actually hang out with at school or something. I also love how the first episode is set up. You really get a sense of what the show is going to be like, and what's great is that the show makes you want to keep watching, which is why I keep binging it over and over. My overall rating for the show is a full 5 stars. No questions about that. I honestly have no complaints about the show whatsoever, which is actually rare because I know for one that I'm really picky with shows and books. Like, if I'm not feeling the characters and the plot, I am done. I'm gone. So I highly recommend this show. And fun fact, the characters all have their own Spotify playlists. I've been rocking out to James's playlist for the past week. And I gotta say that playlists really reflect the characters well. I also want to give a shout out to Derry Girls Shitposts,
I think I
who
remember your
creates
skin on
amazing
mine.
video compilations and memes for the show.
I remember your
Definitely a
laugh with
great
mine.
Instagram page with a super fun
I
fan
think
community.
I remember that you were mine. I'm not sure. We were short, it's been long.